You're perfect just the way you are. But are you really? In this edition of,
Better advocacy in 10 minutes or less.
we're talking about taking feedback in advocacy, when you should listen to it, and what you should do with it. We're going to look at strategy, bill writing, and communication feedback. All right, let's hop right on in with strategy. Now, this is a time of negotiation, and what is negotiation if not feedback on what you're doing? Unless you have a slam dunk policy proposal that has support of a supermajority in the legislature and the administration is behind it, you need to be listening to feedback during your strategy planning. People with a better understanding of the dynamics in your local political parties can tell you how to frame an issue. People with specific policy or practice knowledge can point out unforeseen issues. Impacted individuals can add a depth to your arguments or alert you to unintended consequences. Be listening to everyone with the same goal as you when you're setting strategy. But also be realistic. Know that your resources are limited. So you want to know what is practical and impractical to implement. If someone is telling you you should do something that is outside of your budget, like, say, a statewide media campaign, then don't take their feedback. Know your limits. Make sure you understand the political reality in your situation so you can tell good feedback from bad. I've worked a lot in criminal justice and public safety, and I've had several overly optimistic folks say this would be such a win for the Republican governor. It'll be easy to get him to sign on. When in reality, the Republican base and his attorney general are such staunch opponents of our goals that there is no way he would sign on to it. Yet, it would be nice for him to publicly support our bill, but that's not the political reality. All right, now that you have your strategy in place, let's look at feedback during the bill writing process. Now, most feedback during this stage is either in legal language or policy. Legal language is that special language that lawyers and politicians like to, or sometimes must, use. It's that fine print in the terms and conditions of your credit card statement or that box of text you never read, okay, at least I never read, before checking so I can go on and access whatever new update or app on my cell phone I want to use. But in bill writing, this language is extremely important. Words have meaning, and sometimes they have unique meanings based on your state's code. What you or I may think is an inconsequential word choice could have an outsized impact on your bill. I've seen a misplaced comma totally change the meaning of legislation. Yes, the arguments over Oxford commas aren't just for social media. They have real-world implications. If you have a lawyer or a bill drafter working with you, pay special attention to the feedback they give you. Even if you think it's a pointless change that's not worth discussing, listen to them. Find out why they flagged this for feedback. If you look at it and you don't see a difference in meaning between your draft and their suggestion, then take their suggestion. But be sure that all the feedback you take in aligns with your goals. People are fallible. They make mistakes. If their feedback seems to go against your goal, ask for clarification to see if they misspoke or misunderstood what you're trying to achieve. Not all feedback is good feedback. It's up to you to tell the difference. Now, this last one, communication, your comms plan, your strategy to convince legislators to vote for your bill. The best bill won't become law unless you have a communication plan to gather those yes votes. When you draft your plan, make sure you're listening to what others say and how you want to be heard. Not only do you need to include the right facts, data points, and talking points, you need the right tone for your audience. Are you being too forceful or too weak and timid? Do you need to be more serious? Or is humor helpful? Laughter can be very disarming. Think about what is on brand for you. If you're in a coalition, different groups can push the message differently. Listen to the feedback on who should be saying what and why and how. It's very easy for us to get stuck in our own communication bubble with our favorite outlets or methods or style. You get the idea. So it's helpful to have others show us a different and possibly more effective way. All right. So we talked about feedback and strategy, feedback in bill writing, feedback in communication. But we have to remember that feedback is still just feedback. It's not truth. It's not the only way. Blindly following feedback will cause you to lose focus and become less effective. Always be thoughtful when you receive feedback, but don't necessarily take it. Always be thankful for feedback, but don't necessarily implement it. This is your campaign. This is your bill. This is your passion that you're turning into policy. You are ultimately responsible for the decisions that you make. And just like the advice I share in these videos, some you'll find useful. Well, I hope a lot you find useful. And other advice, well, for you, it might just be counterproductive. Feedback is just feedback, but it can help you achieve your goals when you use it the right way. Now, I hope you found this video useful. Be sure to check back next week for another
Better advocacy in 10 minutes or less.
video.